Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's October 29th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. I'm back from my trip. I'm way behind, obviously. So it was a really kind of a weak trading day. In the end, this is just kind of a range day, but it's not a very easy range day because prices don't turn down at the same spot every time. They don't turn up at the same spot. You just really have to let these trends play out and wait on a reversal or whatever. Um, Not a lot of trades today. This isn't going to take long, and I'm not going to do a whole lot today other than go through the trades real quickly because I really need the time to catch up, and this will give me a little extra time today to try to catch up and get back on track. So, um, anyway, again, this is just, you can see we're not prices. Here's your overnight high and your low, which normally on your range days you'll trade inside that. You see we got outside of that, but what we had was two legs up here, and then we really had two legs down, and then we had another two legs. They're not equal legs up, and then we've been trending down since then. But just to show you early on, I would have measured this first move up, and from right here, I'd have looked for a measured move, and you can see we went a little further than that. And then coming down, I'd have measured this first leg. And the reason I like this one is you see this little two-legged correction in the middle. That's usually the center of the pattern. And you measure from there. And that gives you a measured move back down here to test this breakout. Notice we pushed through there and never tested that. We did come back right here and test it. But usually you'll test it again, and we came back here. And so you would have assumed that was probably going to be our target back down here to test that again. And we went a little further. And we actually went all the way back to the start opening. That's the opening prices at 8:30, and we climbed back up, and now we've back down testing that again. So kind of a odd trading day, really. It's just the market has no direction. It seems like when we get up in the 3,000, mid 3,000s, uh, we run into a lot of resistance. So the market wanted to go up today, as you can see, and we did go up some, but you quickly find resistance and the selling comes in and it sells off. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of volume today. Uh, I've seen worse days than this, but just not a lot of volume either. So, but let's back out. We'll talk about the trades and we'll wrap it up because I got a million things I need to do to get caught up. It was nice to get a vacation, get some time away. Um, but I'm back, and we'll kind of get back in the swing of things here. And yeah, this won't take long. So you had to be real patient today. There's a couple of green ones early on, but there just weren't any, we just didn't have any setups. Look how flat and, just not much volume there. And, at this point, it looks like it's really going to be a range day, but then we break on out and get a couple of legs up. But 7 o'clock came right here, and you just can't go. That bar is way too big to go long. It actually broke lower and turned and went out the other side, but by the time it goes out the other side, you're looking at three. I don't even know how big that is. That's at least 3 points, I think. Range, that's 4 points. So it's just too risky. It would have worked, but I don't think you want to risk that. And then by the time you get in here, notice you got a failed second entry short that fails. Then you got a failed second entry long that fails, and you just stay. The only way to trade this is to get short off the highs or long off the lows if you got enough room. This one was really tempting because there's a double test. Um, you don't have a lot of room there. I didn't mark this one, but I probably should at least make it green because it is a double test. It is a nice bullish bar. It's real close on the room to get out there, though, and it would have worked. Um, and then I marked this one green as well. It's a failed second entry short, but this one looks more like a reversal pattern. Notice how we pushed through the EMA. Plus, there's a little breakout up here, so this one may succeed. So that's another one you might take. Neither one of them are great setups. I don't like either one of them. There's a little breakout pullback, and you would think we were probably going to try to fill the gap. That's the other reason that I like giving that one at least a green, because we're probably going to try to fill that gap at a very minimum. It actually ends up going much higher, and it's tempting right here when it comes back and tests that the close from yesterday and then turns back up. But we're away from the EMA, and you see that first leg. Once we started going higher, then you'd probably look for a measured move, but I don't think I'd want to short that either. We're not quite to the highs up here, so I don't think that's worth shorting, but I think you would rather wait on a lower high. But you can see leg one right there, and then leg two. That's basically almost a perfect measured move. And you just don't get a lower high till here, and then you're almost back here. And notice that we did bounce here. Notice how when we broke through here, we never pulled back and tested that breakout area. And generally prices are going to test that before they go forward. So when we came back here and tested that, you had to assume that maybe we'd get a measured leg if we went higher. And so notice how bullish that bar is that bounces right off. I don't have the line drawn across here, but you can see that. We come back and test that to the tick, basically. And get that big bullish bounce. Another reason I'm not crazy about this one is you've got that trend working down, and there is a little bit of an overshoot there. I don't have the other side on it, but you can see we end up getting the overshoot. And we had that happen a couple times a day where we didn't really get a break, but we got an overshoot. On this channel working up, we had an overshoot and then we reversed. And on this one, we had an overshoot and reversed. And that's pretty common. If you get that overshoot, there's always, at the very minimum, you're going to get a break of the trend line soon thereafter. So notice so it could have just been a break, but a lot of times, especially on these shorter term, more micro trends, it'll just reverse off that. So that's a possibility. Again, it's green, but you can see we're at 9 o'clock and we really haven't had a decent setup yet. But finally, we push up here, we come back, and then we come back again. And even though we don't ever break lower there, that's actually a good sign for going higher. I don't think you want to go long out of that, but when we break out and pull back and test it, that's like a failed second entry short right there, and that's a nice bullish bar right off the EMA. I like that one. And you would assume we'll probably go on up and test those highs now. And we may get that measured move, which we end up going a little higher than that. The market picked up a little steam on this second leg here. But then we get the overshoot, and you really need to wait on a lower high, which comes here. And that's tempting, but this was a really strong move up here. There is a measured move. So this is another one you could probably argue for it to be green. If we'd have broken higher again there and then you had room to get out before that EMA, I'd say, yeah, you might take a short there. But I don't like any of this. If I was going to do anything up here, if I wanted to be a little aggressive, I may take that one. I'll go ahead and mark it green too. There's a lot of green ones today and not much else. But you can see by 10 o'clock, we've had really one decent reversal pattern. And even this one, you've got some congestion there. But the fact that it breaks out, and we couldn't ever break below that, and it can't even get back down there, that's a good sign we're probably going higher there. And so here you're waiting on maybe the reversal. And you do get that reversal pattern right here and a big bearish bar, but you're right back into that trend line. And that's too risky. So we actually push through, come back. But here I'd want to wait on a little better setup. I'd want to wait on a second entry or something because that's been a big move down and that's not a whole lot of correction. So I would want to at least see an attempt at 2 legs. You get a second entry short right here when it breaks lower, but you can see it's not a very good signal bar and you can see it failed. And really what you've got is 2 legs back, but you got 2 legs in this leg. And so notice I basically treat that as a high, first entry, second entry, but it's 2 legs back with 2 swings in here. And that's generally the center of the pattern. And usually you'd want a better signal bar, but the fact that it's like a failed second entry long and it looks like the center of the pattern and you made a double top here, so it's a lower high. There's some reasons to want to get in there. And you don't have a lot of room there, so you probably can't wait on a lower high or anything. And you can see this one actually takes off. That was a fairly nice trade. And then, of course, we get our measured move down. We actually make that one last little push. And notice this little trend line's working down you to close and new low, and look how far away we are from the EMA when uh, we hadn't been getting that far away before we're snapping back. So we're way overdue to come back. So that's another one you might be a little aggressive with, just to ride it back, and you may catch a low. And of course, you do end up catching a low. And here's your better entry, your higher low, and that's a nice bullish bar. And then there's a reversal pattern right there, a failed second entry short, another nice bullish bar. And these were really your two best setups of the day right here. And then this is a little repeat pattern again of this over here, just a little smaller and tighter. But you're so much closer to the EMA here, and that's just an up-down bar. You got an up and then down, and it doesn't. And notice all those matching lows, so you can't really go short there. Here you're too close to the low, but then you get that second swing back, and it actually went higher and turns. Now you got that big bearish bar. If it breaks lower, it's probably going to drop on down because you probably got some longs trapped in there, and all these people that got long will probably have to exit. And you can see how quickly it moves down. So that was your other really good trade for the day. And it looks almost like this, except a little tighter pattern. And there's your little two-legged move, and there's your little two-legged move. And at a minimum, I would expect you'd probably get a measured leg down. So that's shooting it right into here, but this thing just keeps going. And it takes you right into 2 o'clock hour. This is one you probably ride all the way down. And notice you got an overshoot, you come back, and then you get your close outside. It's real iffy if we got to close outside, but with that being an overshoot, I'd say you probably did. And it turns on back down. Of course, that's all after 2 o'clock, but yeah, there just wasn't much happening today. I mean, this is just for the most part, this is just a range day that's not a real clear one, because you had a fairly strong trend up and then a fairly strong down, then back up and back down. And you're just, and the real key to the reason this one is more difficult than normal is because you're not turning down at the same resistance point every day, and you're not, or every time, not every day, but every time, and you're not turning up at the same support area every time. Notice we turned up here, then we went a little lower and turned up. Now we're down here and we've gone a little lower again. Of course, if you turn up right there, you could say that was pretty close, but it's so late in the day now, it doesn't matter anyway. But you just don't get those consistent bounce points or reversal points off the range. So it just makes it a little difficult. It's real nice when every time it turns down, it's right off this level. And every time it turns up, it's right off this level. Because then it becomes very predictable. And that's what you really hope for on a range day. So, yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush today. I'm going to wrap this up, and I've got a lot to do to get caught up. And I was late getting in last night, so I've had a long day too. I was up late last night traveling, and up early this morning. And so I'm going to wrap it up, and maybe tomorrow will be better, but we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.